Okay, so this is Greg Thompson with Accelerate ActionCOACH Business Coaching. Today I'm talking to Jacob and Aaron Poindexter, and they have two salons, shops, hair salons, one in Johnston called Neon Heart Barbershop, and then down on Court Avenue, Neon Heart Salon. So welcome, guys. Thanks for giving us some time today.
Thanks.
Yeah,
we're glad to do it.
So let's talk about the business. Tell us about both of them. Obviously, probably different target markets, ideal clients for them. So fill us in on both your shops, what you got going on there.
I'll let you go first.
Okay. So we have a salon downtown. We opened it actually March of 2020. Yeah. Yeah, it was a little dicey there for a moment. But we've been able to grow actually. And we've added another hairstylist and we're just going along, but we do specialize in fantasy colors. So, you know, crazy colors, bright colors. We also do extensions and we do a little bit more modern, edgy type of cutting, stuff like that.
Okay. All right. And that's down on Court Avenue?
Yep, we're downtown on 4th and Court. We're inside the Hawkeye Insurance building on 4th Street. It's a nice little tucked away, beautiful little salon. It's historical. The building's very historical. It's one of the oldest buildings in Des Moines.
Cool. Okay. All right. Jacob, tell us about your spot in Johnston then.
So the spot in Johnston is it's a really good spot. It's right north of I-80 off of Merle Hay Road. We're gluttons for punishment from last year because it was really hard to get things going last year. And then we saw that spot and we said, well, let's do it again. So we got in there about January of 2021 and started building it all out. And I mean, that's one thing we've built our shops kind of ourselves from the ground up pretty much. Have a construction background and Aaron's pretty good with design and stuff like that. So we've done all of that ourselves for both shops, which has been kind of an adventure. And, you know, I started cutting hair up there about April, May, and it's been growing pretty steadily since then. I've added one more person there with me cutting hair as well. So I have 2 barbers at that shop right now. So.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about who is your ideal client. How about Aaron? You go first to tell us about the Court Avenue salon.
Yeah, so we tend to market towards anyone really, but kind of between the ages of like 21 to I'd say 50 or so. It's kind of excuse me, it's kind of somewhere in there. Yeah, but we see everyone, you know, we don't just do fantasy color. We do kind of specialize in color. That's definitely something that we focus on. So, you know, anyone from just a simple gray coverage root touch up all the way to the biggest, boldest, out of this world fantasy color. But yeah, it tends to be more of the young, you know, business type of working class people. And you know, usually they're wanting something a little more fun, but yeah, it's cool being down here on Court Avenue. We get a lot of different people. It's great.
So what color would you recommend for me? What would be a good color for me if I wanted to have a little fun with my hair? What color would you recommend?
Well, I would have to recommend green, of course.
My grandkids would love it, I think. So. All right, Jacob, tell us about your ideal client, your target market for your Johnston shop.
I would say I aim for people who are looking for consistency. Like those are the people that I want, and I feel like I tend to get those people as well. I get a lot of comments after clients come to me a couple times. When they're relatively new, they'll tell me things like it's the best haircut they've ever had and that I'm the only person that like consistently has given them the same haircut, 3 or 4 or 5 times when they've asked for it. And those are really the people that I target. It's people that recognize the benefit of that consistency and being able to get in. A lot of people really appreciate being able to book ahead and stuff like that, because that's kind of relatively new for barbershops. Like a lot of barbershops are doing that now. But in the last few years, that's kind of new. And I really embraced that from the start. I feel like that helps people a lot, like letting them book out appointments ahead of time. I still take, walk-ins and stuff like that, but I feel like most people are pretty appreciative of the convenience of being able to know exactly when they can walk in and get their hair cut. So, but yeah.
So let's talk about the difference between a barber shop and a hair salon. What are the different products or processes that can be done differently or are done differently?
Well, I would say probably one of the major the differences as far as like something that Aaron offers that I don't would be longer hairstyles and stuff like that, as far as like women's long length with layers and whatnot.
Mhm.
But that's really and
the tools
and the tools and the products are all kind of coming together realistically anymore. There are some that are more focused towards really long length and preserving color on their hair, but it's all kind of starting to come together lately. I mean, I even do the fantasy colors at the barbershop for a few clients too, like blues and greens and all that crazy stuff as well. So that is all starting to really blend. The big difference is that, salons, they typically don't have barbers on hand, so they're not doing straight razor shaves or a ton of beard work. That's a major difference. Like I do a lot of beard work, and I don't think you do really much of that down here, but that's kind of the major differences. But they kind of overlap anymore, which is kind of cool.
Okay, so you opened your Court Avenue shop in spring of 20 and now January of 21 for the barbershop in Johnston. What were some changes, some adaptations that you had to make difference from 20 to 21?
From 20 to 21? What would you say? Adaptations, changes from 20 to 21?
I feel like a lot of stuff really stayed the same throughout that time. We kept cleaning procedures, we kept, bookings down to a minimum, just to keep people,
I guess not
that as
would
many
be
people in the salon at a time.
Yeah, I mean, that's a change now though, is things are, most people are getting a little more comfortable with being in the shop with multiple people at the same time. Like everybody was very cagey about that in 2020.
Mhm.
And that's kind of changed a lot recently. And now we're going with the other stuff. But I think it is becoming it's kind of a challenge to find people.
Mhm.
It seemed like last year in 2020, it was like there were a lot more people that were very gung-ho about getting back out and finding a new place to work or something. And now it's kind of a little bit different. I feel like a lot of people are kind of trying to stick tight, like wherever they're at. They're not doing a whole lot of moving around. So
that leads to my next question was I was going to ask you about, as both of your shops are growing, how are you doing in the recruiting side of things for finding team members and that? Are there people, obviously you have to be certified and go to school to get, to do your work. Are there people getting that education? Are you finding that growing, or is it a tough place to find people?
Yeah, that was something in 2020 we noticed there. We were just flooded with applications. We had, people, like Jake said, feeling like they wanted to move and change and find something new and head a different direction. And yeah, it seems like that's kind of slowed down a little bit.
Especially on my side of things, just because the barber school that was here in Des Moines closed. And so now the state of Iowa is down to one school that can give you a barber's license. So that's, I mean, yeah, there's a big change there. There's not a whole lot of new blood coming into it right now. So
Okay, interesting. So I want to, I'm going to change up on you here a little bit. It's been said, smart people learn from their mistakes. Wise people learn from other people's mistakes. So would you be able to share learning that you've had the hard way that maybe you could pass along to other business owners or other entrepreneurs that would maybe stop them from making that same mistake? Any words of wisdom that way?
do you want me to go ahead? Because I can think of one off the top of my head as far as like hiring people.
That was where I was going to go to.
The biggest thing.
Go ahead.
The one thing I could say is that it's really easy to do research on people that you're thinking about hiring. It's really easy to get a good idea of them based off of online presence and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't do that prior to, you might do it later and be like, oh gosh, like this is a kind of a situation we're in. And we had one of the situation like that. And I guess that's the thing I learned is it's like, take advantage of that. It's easy to do nowadays to look into like things and see what people got going on before you get really involved with employees.
Yep. Do interviews, lots of interviews, get to know people, lots of different types of interviews, see how they are on the phone, because that's how they'll be with customers, see how they are behind the chair with customers, see how they are. I actually now have people assist me for an entire day before I even think about bringing them on, because I can see their work ethic that way. So not just looking at the paper application or, the portfolio they might have online. It's actually kind of seeing how they interact with the other team members and customers that walk in the door.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like you're both endorsing the old saying, slow to hire, quick to fire kind of philosophy, huh?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Oh, very good.
Which is tough to do sometimes. You kind of get it in your feels about it a little bit, but you have to do it once in a while.
Yeah, it's not fun.
It'll usually come back to bite you if you don't do all your homework and due diligence up front. It seems to always do that. So let's talk again. How do people find you? Where all are besides other brick and mortar? How else do they get a hold of you? How do they book appointments?
We are very prevalent on social media. So we do a lot of posting, advertising, things like that on Instagram. I believe we're even on TikTok, Facebook, things like that. So there's lots of different ways to reach out to us. We do have a website though. So the two websites, the neonheartsalon.com and then the neonheartbarbershop.com. And you can actually, we have a way that clients can actually get on those websites and request appointments, and those appointments go right to our books. So that's a really easy way that, they can kind of just get on there, do it themselves. They can also call. We have people to help book appointments and do things like that too. But yeah, social media is kind of where everyone can see our work and see what we do and see what we love and see what we're passionate about. And there's lots of different ways to get a hold of us and get on our books. And
your listings, our listings on Google and the map things like Google and stuff like that are pretty important. Those help a lot too. It's surprising how many people just pull up their phone and type in salon near me or barbershop near me, especially. Like I get that a lot.
Yep.
And yet we have those up. I mean, that's definitely how people are typically finding us though, is through just social media and like GPS services basically. So
everything's on everyone's phone. That's where they're looking.
Yep. Well, very good. Well, any last minute words of wisdom, thoughts, anything else you would like people to know about the barbershop in Johnston or the salon down on Court Avenue? Anything, any other final words of wisdom for anybody?
So I would say words of wisdom as far as like doing a business anymore is you really have to take risks sometimes. Like you have to jump in once in a while, and she's really great about that. It's great if you have a partner that will push you to talk to people, to ask people questions about like potential spots and things like that. Cause I tend to be, I don't want to bother people or whatever. And she's not. She will call people, she'll send emails, she doesn't care. So if you can find somebody to help you like get, it really works well as a team, I feel like. But taking risks, like you have to. I don't know any other way to do it. I mean, we found the second spot, and it was like, I think a lot of people would have been like, you're crazy. Like you just got one thing going and it's doing well, like just ride that. But at the same time, you got to take a risk once in a while. And I think that was our big risk that we took. I mean, really,
But it's paying off.
it's paying off. It wasn't a risk as much when we first started this shop downtown, because it was rocking and rolling. And so we were like, oh, this is solid. And then COVID happened and that was chaos. And I think a lot of people would have been like very hesitant to start a second thing, but sometimes I think you have to take a risk in order to expand more. So.
Well, congratulations on taking that risk. You're right. A lot of people aren't cut out for that, and that's fine. But I say kudos to those of you that are willing to take that risk and reach out, and we need more of that. So congratulations to both of you, and much success on both of your shops. So I hope they both continue to do well. And Jake, I'm going to treat myself to a shave one of these days. So I'll have to come out and see you. So,
Sounds good.
All right. So thank you very much. We've been talking to Jacob and Aaron with Neon Hearts, the barbershop in Johnston, and Neon Hearts, the salon down in Court Avenue. This is Greg Thompson with Accelerate Action Coach Business Coaching. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.